You still under oath, Professor?
Yes, my lady.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Nell?
As the court pleases. Professor Derman, just one or two questions about the Arno Fourie incident. Now, as far as the Arno Fourie incident is concerned, can you exclude the fact that he wanted to move partly because of the accused being on the phone? Or don't you know?
No, I do not know. And all I can say is from a medical perspective, what I found with respect to Mr. Arno Fourie, and that I suggested that he move to that room in order to recover.
Have you not had any further discussion about this incident over the weekend?
No, sir, I have not.
Do you know Mr. Arno Fourie well?
Yes, he is one of the athletes I look after closely at Stellenbosch.
Do you know his family?
I know his wife.
And his brother?
No, I do not.
Good. Now, on the night, on your version, there were 3 startles, and those were all sounds. Am I right?
Yes.
Those were the only ones. The startles were all sounds.
Yes.
Nothing else.
No.
And the first one was the window closing. Am I right?
Yes.
The second one was the toilet door closing.
Closing or opening?
Opening.
Yes.
Opening. Indeed, my lady, open. And the second was the toilet door closing. Am I right?
Yes.
What was the third one?
The third sound was a sound from inside the toilet, which was a magazine rack.
We dealt with this on Friday. I just want to ask one or two questions about this. The fact that it was a magazine rack, where did you get that information from?
From Mr. Pistorius.
He told you that he heard a magazine rack move.
Yes.
He never described that sound in any other way, the last sound.
Mr. Nell, I can't remember.
If he did, would you have remembered it?
No, not really.
Isn't that very important for you in your line of expertise to really know what the sound was?
I know there were 3 sounds.
Okay. But you wanted to know from him what those 3 sounds were?
I wanted to know what his response was to those 3 sounds.
Did you not want to know from him what those were?
And he did tell me, yes.
Okay.
However, my memory is still, my memory of the record and my memory of those discussions is, that wasn't my main focus.
Let us not deal with the record. Let us rather deal with your memory of discussions. Because you said to the court now that the accused told you that he heard a sound made by a magazine rack.
Yes.
You don't have any notes on that?
No.
Okay. Now, how did he describe that sound, the third sound?
I cannot recall how specifically he described it.
If we don't use the word specific, what did he describe to you?
That he heard a sound.
Okay, you heard a sound. How did it come in that that sound was the sound of a magazine rack?
Because that's what I recall that he told me.
I will spend time on this because I think it will become important a bit later. He heard this. He heard a sound. He heard a sound of a magazine rack. Now, what sound would a magazine rack make?
I have no idea.
Now, when somebody tells you, I heard a sound of a magazine rack, what do you think?
That was the sound. I mean, I really don't know how many decibels it was or what nature of it was. It was a sound that startled him.
If you see, a magazine rack in itself will not make a sound. Am I right?
Yes, a magazine rack by itself will not make a sound.
So, what caused it to make a sound? Do you know?
My lady, I assume somebody inside the toilet.
No, I don't want to assume. I want what you heard from the accused.
I can't recall him telling me that it was somebody. I mean, I assumed that myself. That was an assumption that I made when I listened to him.
So, in fact, if it was a loud sound, soft sound, long sound, short sound, you don't know anything.
No,
You just know it was a sound.
it was a sound and that it startled him.
You see, why do you want to include and it startled him?
Because that's what I recall he told me.
You can recall it telling you that it startled him, but you cannot recall him telling you what he thought about the sound.
No, I can't recall what he thought about the sound.
See, that doesn't make sense, Professor, because that is more important what he thought the sound was than the fact that it startled him. Don't you think?
No, sir.
Why not? Because he shot and killed somebody. That made that sound.
I understand that.
So why would that not be more important what he thought?
Because there is the legal side to this, and there's the physiological side to this, and it is not my job to interpret the legal aspects of this. I'm here to speak about the physiological responses to a sound.
I'm not asking you to interpret anything. I'm asking you what he told you. That's all. Got nothing to do with legal or physiological. It's a question. What did he tell you?
I didn't hear a question.
Professor, what about the sound startled him?
Sorry, Mr. Nile.
What about the sound startled him?
The sound itself startled him.
He never told you what he thought caused the sound. Except he said it was the magazine rack. But that in itself cannot. So did he tell you what he thought caused it? No.
No, the only things that I could have asked him about the sound was with respect to the quality of the sound, was the duration, the frequency, and the intensity of that sound.
Did you?
No.
Okay. But then, you see, we get to this quite often. I have to go back and get an answer. Because you answered, not verbally, but I saw you shaking your head, saying no. When I asked you, did he explain to you what he thought caused the magazine rack to make a sound? You shook your head from side to side, but you never answered for the record. So the answer must be, no, he never did.
Sorry, we're at cross purposes again.
Okay.
Can you please put your question to me again?
I'm repeating a question
Yes.
where I said, did he ever tell you what he thought caused the sound made by the magazine rack.
A sound made by the magazine rack. No, he said there was a sound, he thought it was the magazine rack.
You see, so again, please let's deal with the answer. The answer then to my question is no, he did not tell me. Am I right?
Sir, all he told me was that it was the magazine rack. That is all he told me about the sound.
There are two things there. Firstly, I mean, the court asked you to rather address the court and not me.
I am addressing the court.
You said sir.
My lady.
Then, if he said he saw the door opening, you would have remembered that.
No, I don't remember that.
You would have if he said that.
My lady, I was very focused on with respect to the history of those sounds and the startles, not with respect to opening and closing of doors and when, at which stage running occurred and all of these other events. Those are all legal issues. I don't, that is not why I'm here.
You see, sir, I'm surprised by your answer. As an expert, you should listen to the question and answer them. It was such an easy question. If he said to you that he saw the door opening, you would have remembered that. That's all.
I do not remember it.
But the question
and I don't know if he would have said it if I would have remembered it.
Don't you think that would have been very important?
What's your question?
That would have been very important if that door opened. Do you think it would have been?
Yes.
So then, if he said that, you would have remembered.
That he saw a door opening.
The toilet door, yes.
Yes.
So he never said that to you?
No.
Okay. In fact, he said nothing about the toilet door to you.
He told me that the second noise was the toilet door closing.
Okay. Apart from that, now we're now at the third startle. And that's a startle caused by the magazine rack.
Yes, my lady.
So we only had 3. There was no other startle caused by the toilet door.
No.
Okay. Now, being a man interested in sounds, if he indicated to you that there was a sound of the door, you would have remembered that. A toilet door.
Yes.
He never said that then.
The second sound was the toilet door
No,
closing.
the third sound, sir. The third sound. If he said the third sound was caused by the toilet door, you would have remembered that?
Yes, I would have.
He never said that?
No.
If he said there was a further sound by the toilet door, that's how 3 plus 1 startles, you would have remembered that?
Yes, I would have remembered that.
There was nothing like that?
No.
Okay. Whilst we're dealing with sounds, do you know that the accused's hobby is shooting? One of his hobbies.
I am aware of that, my lady.
And that he would go to the shooting range and he would shoot at the shooting range.
I know so.
And I'm certain you saw the video where he shot the watermelon at the shooting range.
I did.
Now, those sounds would not startle him, would it?
Not necessarily, sir.
Not necessarily. So is it possible that those sounds would startle him?
My lady, as I understand this phenomenon, if one is expecting a sound and is in control of that sound, then it does not have the same startle response as if you are not expecting a sound.
Good. That is the answer I wanted. Now I'm going to go back. I'm standing in the toilet. I think there's somebody behind that door. I'm expecting a sound. So there wouldn't be any startle then.
Just hold on. I'm not clear. I follow.
Let me rephrase, my lady.
Yes.
I'm going back to the bathroom. Third startle. I'm standing in the bathroom. I know there's somebody behind that door, the toilet door.
You think?
Yes, I think there's somebody behind the toilet door. A sound will not startle me because I expect the sound to come from there.
It would depend on what you thought was behind that door.
If I thought it was an intruder, I expect a sound.
No, but that sound is in context with a fear that is programmed into the amygdala.
Yes, but we said now, if you expect a sound on the shooting range, the startle would not be that effective. Now I'm expecting it from the toilet. Why would this now be different?
Because, my lady, on a shooting range, you are in charge of when you discharge your firearm and create the sound.
But I understand the word in charge, but remember we dealt with, you said two things. You're expecting a sound and you're in charge of it. At least you will concede that on your version, the accused expected a sound from the parcel.
My lady, maybe let me answer this question in terms of the science, and I take you back to those fear-potentiated startle reactions that I spoke about in my day of my evidence in chief. What we spoke about there is that a sound is used as the main cue for the stimulus for the startle response. And then they do something called the fear-potentiated experiment. And what they do is they put a pad which gives an electric shock onto the subject or the patient's arm here. And then they actually show on the screen different cues. Like, for example, it could be a square or it could be a triangle. And they tell the subject who is undertaking this experiment that when the square or when the triangle is flashed on the screen, they know they will get a shock in the next 20 seconds or 40 seconds. And then they measure that startle response. And the results of the studies, as I've shown you on Thursday, show that when you are in a fearful state and you are expecting that noise, but you're also expecting an adverse reaction, the fear-potentiated startle is exaggerated. It's exaggerated. So in answer to Mr. Nell's question, even though there can be an expectation of a sound or vigilance for a sound, it potentiates the startle and makes it worse.
But at that time, we are already acting in terms of a startle. That was the second startle in the passage. He is hypersensitive about what's going on around him. His awareness is higher because of the second startle. Am I right or not?
Yes, that is correct.
So his awareness of what's going on has now been elevated because of the second startle. He's expecting a sound, so the startle would not have an effect on him.
The startle would not do what?
The startle would not have an effect on him.
An effect
An effect.
on him.
Yeah.
My lady, with respect, Mr. Nell has got it wrong. It's exactly the opposite. The startle would be potentiated in the fear setting. It's exactly opposite to what Mr. Nell said.
But I'm aware of what's going on around me. I'm more sensitive because of what happened with the second startle at that time.
Yes, you're vigilant.
Yeah, vigilant. Yeah, okay, good. Now, you made an interesting remark. The shots at a shooting range would not necessarily startle the accused. You used that word, am I right?
Yes,
so is
that
it
is
possible that it might have happened that shots at a shooting range would startle him?
Of course it's possible. If he was not expecting any sounds, similarly for fireworks.
And also, you don't know if he was alone on a shooting range and if other people fired shots at the shooting range.
I do not know, my lord.
Then, we dealt with it quickly on Friday. No, we'll get back to that. The anxiety that we discussed, that's in the report and that you testified about, I just want to ask one or two questions about that. When you tested the accused for his level of anxiety,
Yes,
that was during the athletic season.
that is correct.
And one would expect somebody in the middle of an athletic season to be anxious about the next race and training and so forth.
That is correct.
You did not do any tests after the incident?
Could you clarify which incident?
The 14th of February 2013.
No, I've not done any tests then.
So if somebody scores high on the test during an athletic season, that would be appropriate for the situation.
Yes, it would be. However, what I did present, my lady, was the scores of the Kessler inventory, or the K10, which was done in the 10 days prior to competition. And the point I was making is that Mr. Pistorius' scores were higher than the mean for the whole group of individuals that were subjected to that same amount of stress.
But that's within a context of an athletic meeting 10 days before competition.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, on the night in question, you've read the record and you know what happened when he got home from Johannesburg. Am I right?
From Johannesburg.
Yes. The accused was in Johannesburg. He drove back to his house.
No. Mr. Nell, my lady, I don't have knowledge of that part of the record. I haven't read that. I have not read the entire record. Okay. I'm sorry.
Now, if I tell you that the evidence of the accused is that it was a very nice, relaxing evening and he wasn't anxious until he fell asleep.
Is there a question?
If you have that. So we know that before he went to sleep, he wasn't anxious, he was calm. His anxiety, there was no anxiety that we know of. Does that make an
not that I'm aware of.
Now, when you decided to testify, did you do any tests on the accused?
No, I did not.
You used historical information?
Yes, I did.
Did not do any other assessments?
No.
Paragraph 50 of your report. Lady, that's on page 15. You described there Mr. Pistorius there, am I right? And
Yes.
what he said that he presented with anxiety, coupled with fear.
Yes.
This resulted in a significant flight and fight response.
Yes.
He demonstrated being hypervigilant,
Yes.
has an exaggerated startle response,
Yes.
and has hypersensitive sound.
Yes.
That is the man that we're dealing with.
Yes.
He's a danger to society then, because that caused him to kill someone.
I cannot say that, my lady.
But just look at it. Have you, as far as you're concerned, that is the accused before court. And that led, on your version, to the killing of the deceased.
My lady, that I cannot make that statement. I have got no wherewithal to make a statement that he is a danger to society.
Okay. Let us just say, let's deal with you only used your historical information and you related those to the facts at present. Am I right?
That is correct, my lady.
Now, when we dealt with the video that you saw about the shooting of the watermelon, there was no indication of anxiety and fear present that you could see there. Am I right?
No, I did. I saw that video once, my lady. I can't conclude about psychological status watching that. In fact,
You can't
I don't.
conclude.
I can't even remember if the individual was in full body view. I can't remember the details of that. I know there was shooting. I know that there was a watermelon involved, and I know that there was sound afterwards. There was laughter. That is all I know.
Now, paragraph 54 of your report we should not read into this paragraph that you want to give an opinion on criminal capacity, am I right?
That is correct, my lady. That is not my task.
Or culpability.
That is correct, my lady.
Now, the fact that the accused was able to run on his stumps is as far as he's concerned, in his mind, it's something that you cannot exclude. That in his mind he can run on his stumps.
Yes.
And that he even tried to break down the door whilst on his stumps. You know that that's his evidence?
Yes.
That he would be able to do that. He would be able to try and open the door, shoulder the door, or something like that.
I remember that is what he did do
How do you remember that?
from the record.
You never discussed that with him?
No.
Well, I've neared the end of the cross-examination. May I have 10 minutes just to go through my notes?
We'll adjourn for 10 minutes.